Hello, welcome to another episode of Balkh in the Expanse of History. With the hope that you have watched the last sessions, we will have a recap of the former lecture and then proceed to a lecture where we are going to discuss the formation of a new mixed culture resulting from the conjuncture of the two religio-cultural phenomena. In the preceding session, we talked about the various rulers of Central and Southeast Asia and their perspective towards the religions of the territory, and that this way of ruling grounded the emergence of new sects or schools of the existing religions. And now, the transformation of Greco-Buddhist culture and its achievements. Farukhi Sisani's poetry points out, it got old and legend, the words of Alexander, bring the new word to make it much sweeter. Greco-Buddhist culture or Greco-Bactrian is the result of a mixture of Greek and Buddhist cultures, which was the result of the spread of Buddhism and the military campaign of Alexander the Great in the region, especially in Afghanistan of that time. We have talked about the rise of Buddhism and its spread in the area in our previous discussions. Now we will discuss how and why Alexander invaded and conquered the Achaemenids territory and the juncture of the two Greek and Buddhist cultures in ancient Afghanistan. Alexander the Great was born in 365 BC in Greece. When Alexander was 20, his father Philip II was assassinated by his bodyguard. One of the officers hurriedly informed Alexander of his father's death and announced Alexander as the successor of his father's reign. This was Alexander inherited a strong country and an experienced army from his father. In 334 BC, to carry out his father's plan, he invaded the lands occupied by the Achaemenids and started a war that lasted for 10 years. Alexander's great victories in the battles of Issus and Gaugamela broke the Achaemenids' rule, and Alexander emerged as one of the most successful military commanders. In pursuit of Darius III, Alexander first went to Medes, then to Parthia. The fate of Persian emperor was no longer in his own hands, and he was arrested by Bessus, the Bactrian Achaemenid satrap. As Alexander approached, Bessus ordered the Persian emperor to be stabbed to death, and then called himself Artaxerxes or Darius successors. He then retreated to Central Asia to wage a guerrilla war against Alexander. Alexander buried the remains of Darius in a glorious ceremony near the tomb of his ancestors. Alexander also claimed that Darius had chosen him as his successor at the time of his death, but historians usually consider Darius' death to be the end of the Achaemenid Empire. Alexander regarded Bessus as a usurper and decided to defeat him. The military campaign, originally aimed at defeating Bessus, led to Greeks controlling nowadays Afghanistan and Central Asia. Alexander destroyed the gate of Herat and built a strong Greek fortress in its place, the foundation of which is still in Herat. On his way, he built forts called Alexandria in the cities of Herat, Farah, Kandahar, Charikar, and Ai Khanum. It caused cultural dispersion in the world of those days. He founded 20 new cities, all named after Alexander, the most famous of which is Alexandria in Egypt. Alexander created a new Hellenistic civilization by settling Greek immigrants in his occupied territories and consequently by spreading Greek culture in the east. In each of these castles, he left hundreds of thousands or thousands of Macedonian or Greek soldiers along the architects, auxiliary soldiers, craftsmen, and all the other workers needed to build a full-fledged settlement. The creation and innovations of Greek artists merged with the culture of the eastern territories, especially the ancient people of Afghanistan, and took on a national character. The economic situation of the Greco-Bactrian period grew appropriately. Trade relations, various industrial professions, livestock and irrigation had developed considerably. Euthydemus has minted coins made of gold and silver which represent the good economic condition of its time. The trade routes were open and the caravan routes were secured. The various areas of Greco-Bactrian government were ruled by the governors, often princes. The sustained rule of the Greco-Bactrian kings for almost 140 years had a profound effect on the fusion and promotion of new culture. It led to the formation and publicity of various industries like artistic creation, language, calligraphy, and other cultural aspects. All these cultural influences throughout the territory of the Greco-Bactrian Empire fused with the local elements and created a special culture known as the Greco-Bactrian civilization and ancient history. The cities of the time were designed by the same as the Greek city-states. During this period, the cities were flourishing, trade and money circulation expanded, and gold, silver and nickel coins were common. In the Bactrian markets, all kinds of silk and tool fabrics, spices, sweets, metal objects such as copper and silver, jewelry and etc. were traded. Trade routes to China, one from Badakhshan and Wakhan Valley and the other through Fergana or Kashgar, went to Yarkand. Trade relations between nowadays Afghanistan and China had been established since the 2nd century BC. Afghanistan's export to China were mostly silverware, noble stones and jewelry, and imports from China were silk, lacquer, leather, iron, gold, silver and nickel. Of the hundreds of cities in Greco-Bactrian, Ai-Khanum was perhaps the largest, located at the union of the Amu Darya and the Kokcha River in northern Afghanistan. This city was first founded by Alexander's forces in the year 329 to 328 BC and was called Alexandria. Till we catch up next, don't forget to follow us on edX platform. Goodbye.